Does your pan de Spagna or pana de Spagna turn out like this, right? It's sunken. You get these green spots, this dense condensed thing. I'm going to show you all how to fix this really quick with the right tools and the right ingredients. And one secret combination of ingredients that really helps it to rise, have structure, be nice and fluffy, and just a beautiful pan de Spagna cake. So the old coot here coming at you with another exciting video. Let's talk about the equipment to make this. Okay, having the right tools is crucial to doing this. Most people will use one of these hand beaters, which is totally fine, like a hand mixer, right? Kitchenaid. I'll put a link down below if you want to do it this way. The best way, though, honestly, is to have one of these stand mixers, right? And you can use whatever size you want. This happens to be a 6-quart bowl lift style. I'll put a link down below in the description. But whatever old school mixer you have, KitchenAid, it's totally fine. 4-quart, 5-quart, 6-quart makes no difference. But just have something that you can leave on for 15 to 20 minutes is basically. So if you want to hold this thing for 15 to 20 minutes, be my guest. So then what you're going to need is you're going to need a good sifter, right? You're going to need something to sift your dry ingredients together. That's very, very important. You also want to have a good scale, right? Because you're going to be weighing this out. Whenever you're baking, grams matter, literally. You could be over or under. Have yourself a good scale. You know, 1940 called and they want their like balance thing back and the, you know, however, whatever other scales people use. Just get a digital one. It's so much easier. Okay, measuring spoon. Make sure you have a good quality set of measuring spoons, something that's clearly measured, right? You could do the whole process in grams if you want to, but I find, you know, if it calls for a spoon, I just level off a spoon, boom, and I throw it in there. But I will try my best to get you the gram conversion for the ingredients that we're going to be using. Anyways, then you're going to need a good planer, right? This one happens to be from Italy. Good luck trying to find this thing here in the United States. This one's made by Inox. I literally got this in Italy, but I will put the United States equivalent, if I can find it, down there below in the description. Okay, then let's talk about ingredients. So what you're using matters when you make the pan de Spagna, right? This is mostly the classical Italian recipe, and every region has their own take on it. So like you talk to a Sicilian, within Sicily, you're going to have 100 different versions of this, right? And everybody's going to argue, like, you have to use this, you have to use that, you have to be at this, you have to be at that. Northern Italy, whole nother ball game, right? Middle Italy, Lower Italy, you get the idea. Like Middle Italy, Middle Earth, I don't know. Anyways, throw away that reference. But anyways, so having the right ingredients matters. This particular recipe, you can divide it if you want to. You can multiply it. You can do whatever you want to do. But the basic recipe is 8 eggs that must be at room temperature. So take your eggs out at least an hour, like 1 full hour before you start making it. And the reason why is the colder the eggs are, the harder it is to come up to volume. You want your eggs to volumize, right? It's that air that's incorporated into the beaten eggs that gives the lift to your pan de Spagna. Okay, vanilla. Today I'm using the Vanilla Bean King's bean paste, right? Which is great stuff. You could use raw vanilla, like the vanilla bean if you want. You'll have to cut it in half and then scrape out the beans. I believe they also make vanilla bean paste that's like more pure. I think it's the Madagascar vanilla bean. But anyways, whatever kind of vanilla you use, the better the quality, the better it's going to taste. So just remember that. So try to get a good quality vanilla bean in there. Then sugar. Granulated sugar is fine. You can use powdered sugar. Remember, we're going by weight when it comes to the sugar, not by the size or the volume. Okay, then the other star of the show is the cornstarch, right? So mostly this cake, the pan de Spagna cake, at least for this particular recipe, is cornstarch and eggs. Those are the 2 main ingredients. What I'm doing is I'm adding flour into the mix to give the whole cake structure, right? You need something to act as little bridges between the egg and the cornstarch to hold it all together as it rises. Otherwise, what's going to happen is the air that you incorporate into the eggs, when you cook it, is going to burst open And basically that's what gets your cake to go wah, 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 right? So you see here, this is what happens. And I did this on purpose. I baked one, like a smaller version, just so I could show everybody. If your pan de Spagna looks like this, right? Or something similar where it's flattened out and you get this hard thing down here. What this is that's hardened egg, because the egg that has broken, right? The air bubbles that have popped out have sunk down to the bottom as it cooked. That's basically what happened here. Okay, so the last ingredients, right? The two clutch ingredients, right? That everybody kind of disputes or battles over. You could use baking soda, which is what I use. You could use cream of tartar, right? If you want to do that. You just need something else. Like think of this as being like an Italian dish, right? And just always go back to the Romans. How did the Romans build their roads, right? The Via Appia, the Appian Way. You're talking about big rocks, smaller rocks, ash, right? Like burnt wood ash. So you needed all these little components to come together like in a structure. So let's say this was the structure. You need something to fill that gap. And that's basically what the cream of tartar does. In Italy, you would use what's called fecola, which is potato starch. And we don't necessarily have that here in the United States. So cream of tartar is what a lot of people use right here in the United States. I like baking soda. It's just double insurance that your cake is going to rise, right? Most important thing. So then some people will use the lemon zest, right? Which I am going to do. One tip or trick I will tell you is when you're zesting your lemon, to avoid getting the bitter white part, and that's why I cut this one like this, to avoid getting this bitter white part is always zest from the top. So if you zest from the top, right, you can actually see what you're doing so that you don't go into that white part or the pith, or don't go into it too much, but you get the idea. So always zest from the top so you can see what's going on, and then rotate your lemon as you go. So then the very, very last ingredient is the salt. You do need salt because salt is like a train. It delivers the flavor. It's the transportation of flavor. That's what the salt does. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this video series in pieces. Hopefully I can do it in about 4 different videos. So you're going to have to stick around to see how this all comes together. But to quickly recap, if you want to fast forward to this point in the video, 7 minutes and 45 seconds. The ingredients are 8 eggs, whole eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 250 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 zest of 1 lemon, and you're also going to use 1 drop, literally like 1 or 2 drops of lemon. That chemical reaction between the lemon juice and the baking soda also adds more lift to the cake. You're going to need 200 grams of cornstarch. Then you're going to need 50 grams of flour. So if you stay tuned, in the next video, I'll show you all how the process of doing this. We're going to do our wet ingredients. Then I'm going to measure out the dry ingredients while the wet ingredients are kind of mixing away in the mixer. And you'll have to stay tuned for the next video to see all that. With that being said, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button down there below. Comment, please comment how many times you've tried to make a cake like this. I had one person that was so stubborn, they just would not listen to me every time I explained the recipe. And they kept sticking to their own recipe. And they did this like 10 times and literally wasted 80 eggs because they wouldn't follow the recipe. You know, insanity is you keep doing something over and over again, expecting to get a different result the same exact way. You have to follow the recipes, and that's why you want to stay tuned. So comment down below how many times you've tried to make a cake, a pane de Spagna cake, and screwed it up and ended up with something like this with this hard green stuff on the bottom or whatever it was. With that being said, like button, subscribe button, hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of when those other videos come out. Hopefully I can do this whole series in 4 videos. We'll see what happens. And definitely check out the description section down there below to some links for most of the kitchen stuff that I'm going to be using. I will try my best to try to find this on some sort of online link and try to post the link down below. Otherwise, I'll just put like a microplane or whatever the equal equivalent is. Oxo Good Grips makes a good one, but I like this one because it's made in Italy and I'm Italian, and it's just, I don't know, it's a cultural thing. Anyways, like button, subscribe button, description section for links to this stuff. Stay tuned. I'll be back with another video shortly.